What I am about to hand to the Prime Minister is the new Constitution of the Bahamas, which I am sure he will preserve and operate to the best of his ability and to the lasting benefit and happiness of all Bahamian people. Prime Minister.
That was the moment when a young Prince Charles, now king, presented two formal documents to Prime Minister Lyndon Pindling, officially marking the Bahamas' independence. Dressed in a white military uniform at an outdoor ceremony on Nassau's Clifford Park, Prince Charles conveyed Queen Elizabeth II's congratulations, welcoming the Bahamas into the Commonwealth. 10 hours later, the Union Jack was lowered and the new flag of black, aquamarine, and gold was raised, ending 3 centuries of British colonial rule. The victory was hard-fought. Prime Minister Pindling's Progressive Liberal Party had won control from the predominantly white minority just 6 years prior, in 1967, and had tirelessly pushed for independence. Upon receiving the independence order and new Bahamas Constitution, Pindling declared, "We are prepared to shoulder our responsibilities. And despite the ups and downs, we know that we are going to make it." 5 decades and a year later, his vision has arguably come to life through the resilience of the Bahamian people. With unmatched tourism, a strong financial center, a robust commercial industry, and athletic excellence, the nation's future as a leader in these and many other areas now depends on its next generation. Tonight, we introduce you to some of them. 5 young Bahamian leaders, plus one more, who is charting a course in innovation, an ode to 51 years of nationhood. This is RTV's 2024 Independence Special, Emerging Bahamians.
I learned a famous phrase from someone: every day, do at least 2 good things. And so for me, that is my drive. Every day that I wake up, I want to do something positive. I want to be able to impact my people, impact people around me, impact my community. Because, without that, I would not be who I am today.
And today, Quentin Lightbourne is making that impact as one of the youngest senators ever appointed in the country's 51 years of independence. We met in a fitting place, the historic British Colonial, a monument to our colonial past, now a beacon of Bahamian identity, its legacy evolving over time. Originally opened in 1924, it's been described as the grand dam of all Nassau hotels. Fresh from a recent renovation, its majestic ambiance provided the perfect setting for a chat with this emerging Bahamian with an intriguing background. Senator Lightbourne shared that he has always been involved in politics, inspired by his enthusiastic father Charles from a young age. However, he says his political journey truly began in 2005, when he became president of the College of the Bahamas' Union of Students. Asked to speak at both political parties' conventions at the time, he recalls choosing the PLP and eventually joined the Progressive Young Liberals. And today, he holds an office that few have had the privilege to serve in, but he still shares a deep connection to his community.
I grew up in Flamingo Gardens for most of my life. Early years was in Nassau Village. But in Flamingo Gardens, I joined the Carmichael branch and I got involved at that level and understanding how the political structure works, understanding the people, understanding what it takes, and working something from the ground up. And I think that's very important to get a great appreciation of what it is from a political sense, and understanding that there's so many layers to this and how you can progress and understand the people. And I think relatability is one of the key things in politics that I think that, some may not put a particular interest in, but I think that is very important. One of the key factors in understanding the workings of the political party and working at that branch level, to me, was one of the most profound moments of my early life.
Before his appointment to the Senate in 2021, Senator Lightbourne built his reputation as a relatable finance professional by connecting with Bahamian audiences through a popular column in one of the local dailies. The platform allowed him to share his knowledge and educate Bahamians about financial matters, demystifying complex concepts and making them accessible to everyone. He fondly recalls a pivotal moment in his career when an unexpected turn reshaped his professional journey, solidifying his commitment to serving his community. Can you share a challenging moment in your career and how you navigated through it? What did you learn from that experience?
I would say one of the challenging experiences through my career, because I also have a very stocked professional career. And so for me, it was a time when during that transition period, when I began working at Providence Advisors, there was a time when I was searching and trying to become more of a financial professional. And so at the time when I started writing investment articles, I started to advance my studies. I was unemployed for quite some time, but so I took that opportunity to go about and enhance myself, understand that, hey, how am I going to retool and reshape and recraft myself to make me a better professional? And that experience really helped me, pull my socks up by the bootstraps and proceed and move ahead. And I think those experiences is something that I would never forget and something that has laid the groundwork for who I am today.
As the tables turned on his future, Senator Lightbourne's achievements have been nothing short of extraordinary. In addition to his Senate appointment, this millennial has made history as the youngest chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank, driving remarkable growth under his leadership. Among his notable accomplishments, Senator Lightbourne spearheaded the bank's successful securing of $30 million from the African Export-Import Bank, marking the largest capitalization in the BDB's history. Shortly after this interview, Lightbourne's latest appointment as the alternate executive director for the Caribbean at the Inter-American Development Bank was announced, further cementing his influential role in regional development. His journey is a testament to his dedication and vision, and he continues to inspire the next generation of political leaders with his remarkable story. Many young people are unfortunately disillusioned with politics at this time. How do you think we can change that and encourage more young Bahamians to get involved and make a difference?
I think that's a very good question, Sasha. I think a lot of young persons seem to be, just disenchanted with politics because it's now for them the view of this as PLP or FNM, and I think the new generation, millennials and Gen Zs, their aspect and view is looking at it from a nationalistic point of view and understanding that, hey, we want someone that is for the Bahamas, that we wants to take the country forward. Understanding that, yes, you may be a part of a political party, but you have to be perceived as someone that, hey, want to take the country forward. And I think moving forward, that is going to be the key. That's going to be the determining factor of your success or failure. Understanding that you have to be able to portray a genuine image that you want to take this country to the next level. And I think once Bahamians see that, they're going to be involved. They're going to be engaged. But they have to see that, hey, that it's not about politics. It's about the country and putting the nation first. And I think that right there will transform it all. You look at global leaders throughout the annals of time. If you have that connector, be able to connect and that relatability to the masses, they will be able to follow you because they understand that, hey, this is not a political thing. This is about our country and making our country to the next level.
His greatest passion right now, an economic revolution.
Before our generation, it was a social revolution to be able to go in downtown, to go to school, to get an education, to get a university degree. And by and large, as Bahamians, we've accomplished that. There's no real hurdles to education, but the economic empowerment ensure that there's economic equality in our country and understanding that, hey, that there are opportunities out there for us as Bahamians in our country where we can own a piece of this pie legitimately. And I think that is key in my role presently right now as the executive director at the IDB. is ensuring that I understand and try to disseminate that wealth to ensure that we as Bahamians understand that there are opportunities out there for us to expand in various sectors and in various fields. And for me, I'm very, very passionate about that because I think that is something that can coalesce, intertwine with the social issues. Because if we have a country where persons feel economically empowered, there's a reason for going out there and improving your life, ensuring that your family is successful. That will deter, in my view, some avenues of, say, conflict resolution, because you're going to say, hey, I don't think I want to go down this route because I have a bright future in my country. I have the opportunity to be as good as I want to be, and I want to move forward. And us being a small country, I think that message will resonate very well in our country.
In our one-on-one interview, Senator Lightbourne shared his excitement for the next 50 years. As we look to the future, he reveals a more relatable side and what makes him quintessentially Bahamian. You're watching RTV's 2024 Independent Special, Emerging Bahamians. Stay with us.
From all over the world move into the haven where there's no income tax. But with a new government, will it go on being a tax-free haven? And will the new government want more than the present £100,000 a year it gets from the 3 casinos whose turnover is estimated in the millions?
No more bits.
And how will the island's first Negro Prime Minister, 36-year-old Lyndon Pindling, very much the family man, react to the vast authority he holds? As 2 of his 3 children played in the garden of their unpretentious house, Mr. Pindling talked to me about his plans.
We want to take a closer look at the casino operation in general. At the very outset, we did not like the fixed fee that the casinos paid. We would like to look at it now from the inside and see whether it would not be more advantageous to the country to negotiate a percentage based on net or gross, depending on which we think is best suited to our own circumstances. We need to do this because the area in which we seek to expand most quickly and most effectively would be in the education, health, and welfare areas. As you know, our big gripe has always been that not enough of the country's income has been able to filter down to the bottom.
This 1967 interview with the father of our nation offers a poignant glimpse into his aspirations for the country's future. Just 6 years later, his vision was realized when over 300 years of British colonial rule came to an end on July 10, marking the birth of an independent Bahamas. 51 years of progress have brought both triumphs and challenges, but our vibrant nation, steeped in rich and storied culture, stands proud today as a testament to the resilience of its citizens. Since independence, 4 prime ministers have emerged, standing on the shoulders of Lyndon Pindling, each contributing to the nation's journey forward and preparing the next generation of leadership. Welcome back to RTV's 2024 Independent Special, where we celebrate our past and look to a bright future led by these emerging Bahamians.
What do you think are some of the more significant achievements we've made, as well as some of the things we need to improve on?
Some of the most significant achievements I definitely would say was in allowing, for Bahamians now to be able to achieve the highest offices in our country, being able for education, to be able to, to pretty much do what we need to do. There's no invisible barrier or glass ceiling for us as Bahamians, and I think that's the very important thing of what we've accomplished as a country so far, and being able to empower Bahamians to move forward to the next generation, to continue this baton, my view, in terms of making our country the best little country in the world. One of the key things that I think what we need to do looking forward as a millennial, as a young person, for some they may call it or consider it to be very radical, but I do believe we have to look at possibly finally unlatching the hands from the colonial, in terms of being able to say we are our own country, that we now have a president who will sit in terms of the replication of what the governor general is, to be able to say we as a country are moving forward, that we are complete autonomy over ourselves. And I think those are some of the things that the younger generation of Bahamians want to see.
Senator Quintin Lightbourne stands out among emerging Bahamians. dedicated to securing our nation's future. He passionately advocates for aspiring politicians, urging them to step up and lead with vision and integrity.
Understanding that politics has to be a genuine, I would say, a genuine feeling that you want to genuinely help people, and you understand that, hey, your role is to help and not to be helped. And I think that's very important, understanding that, hey, you have to serve the people and the people are not there to serve you. And I think that's very important. I've always considered politics to be a very fair game. I think you get out what you put in. But I would say, if your genuine desire and appreciation is to help people, you will be satisfied. And once you come with that mindset of you wanting to help and empower Bahamians for the long term, you'll be very successful at it.
Now let's talk about the real you. We're gonna have some fun here.
Yeah.
The real you, not the senator, not the BDB chairman,
Yeah.
not all the other titles that you have. Let's get a little fun with it. What would you say has earned you your true Bahamian card? We like to take
I know.
So what would you say earned you your Bahamian card?
I would say what's earned me my Bahamian card is, I've been fortunate enough to travel most of the family islands and understanding and seeing all of this country and understanding that despite the distance and geographical separation, we're still one people, one culture. And for me, being able to go to all these different places and seeing the people and knowing people from Inago and Cat Island and Meg Warner and Abaco, that to me, solidifies, I believe I'm a Bahamian. Not the fact that I love soft grits and I love, my tuna and soft grits and my tea and bread, but those are the things to me. It's understanding and being able to explore and go throughout this Commonwealth, this beautiful country, and knowing Bahamians in every island or mostly every island in this country.
I'm gonna throw in a question. Favorite island?
Boy, without a doubt, I gotta say Auckland.
Okay.
That's where my family is descended from, and so for me, it's a very beautiful small island, low key. A lot of people, they haven't visited or haven't been there. So for me, without a doubt, it's Auckland.
Okay, let's go. We're gonna do your favorite.
Yes.
What you prefer?
Okay.
First one, Canoe or Carnival?
Canoe.
Hands down.
Hands down. No second, Canoe.
Tongue fritters or chicken wings? We like a good chicken wing.
Yeah, I go to chicken wings. I go to chicken.
Tongue fritters?
Yeah. For me, I like my chicken wings. Okay.
Awaki or Portuguese?
Now.
Or as we say, under the dock.
Now,
Under the bridge.
for me, it all depends on the day. Now, some days, I want to go underneath the bridge. Then some days, I want to go Awaki. So for me, if I had to pick one, I would still say Awaki though.
All right, which Bahamian colloquialism do you think you use the most, or do you use the most?
Well, I think I use this good much, but the one that I love is pardon I. When I go through a crowd, pardon I. I love that one.
Pardon I, okay. That sounds like you can keep your passport. Last but not least, how do you spell bud?
There's only one way to spell boy. It's B-E-Y. But
That was the senator's final answer before we wrapped up our candid conversation. But we uncovered several other variations in spelling. For example, consider this version.
B-U-I. No? Oh, because, okay,
Why would you spell it that way?
because it's boy. Now, bay is more like if you,
It's
like an
boy.
affectionate term.
Bay is B-A-E though.
B-A-E. Oh, yeah.
So boy can't.
Oh, see, I missed that part in school. I missed that part.
Dr. Gemma Roll may have missed that part, but she definitely didn't miss the moments that have made her one of the most decorated and respected physicians in the country. She shared how her father's bout with colon cancer while she was in university drew her to the field of gastroenterology, and she's been practicing ever since. Dr. Roll is our next emerging Bahamian. There's something quintessentially special about her. However you want to interpret that.
My true
Bahamian card.
This is what earned it? Mm-hmm. Okay. What earned my true Bahamian card is after I finished fellowship, being offered somewhere between $500,000 to $750,000 to stay and work in America. I came home. because this is where I want to be.
That's true Bahamian.
That's my
true
Bahamian card
Bahamian.
that I've earned.
The American Board Certified Gastroenterologist is now president of the Medical Association of the Bahamas. Dr. Roll opens up about her journey mentoring the next generation of healthcare providers and her vision for the future. So you've been seen as a new leader in the country's healthcare sector. What are some of the biggest health challenges facing the Bahamas right now, and how do you think we can tackle them together?
Good question. So I feel that we've heard a lot about NCDs. NCDs are non-communicable diseases.
Okay.
We have high rates or high prevalence of hypertension, diabetes, obesity, all of which would lead to cardiovascular disease, and by that I mean strokes, heart attacks, right? Causing premature death. We also have kidney disease also caused by the hypertension, the diabetes, and kidneys being part of the cardiovascular system. So those are the major health challenges right now. The thing is, all of these diseases are preventable. So how can we tackle these? We will continue to do what we are already doing, to educate the public on non-communicable diseases, to raise public awareness.
If you could give every Bahamian one piece of health advice to follow religiously, what would that advice be? And do you follow it yourself?
All right, good question. You see your physician at least once a year. You insist that you want comprehensive blood work to be done annually. You want to know what is being tested for, and you want the interpretation of those tests. You want to do this annually. You want to compare where you were last year to this year. You get your blood pressure checked, okay? You are examined, and that's everywhere from your skin, your eyes, how your heart sounds, how your lungs sound. Things can be picked up unbeknownst to you if you are seen by this physician at least once a year. And then for those who have comorbidities being various conditions, you can either seek out the expert advice and see those persons once a year, or at the very least, see your physician a little bit more than just once a year.
You've been involved too in medical education as an associate lecturer. What was the most rewarding part of teaching the next generation of doctors? And did your students ever surprise you with their questions or insights?
That's a very good question. So the experience as being a medical educator, the reward is when the young physicians or the young students are successful at what they are doing. The challenges that we face as, well, I'm always a student, right? So the challenges that we face when taking care of patients and having to learn and be educated at the same time is sometimes the emotional and mental exhaustion that takes place. But if you truly feel that everything that you're going through is for a greater good, then you would be satisfied with whatever it is that you're going through, because you know in the end you'll come out stronger and better. So Princess Margaret Hospital, for example, is a teaching hospital. Patients that come there, you are going to see anywhere from a student to an intern to resident, and ultimately a consultant. And so your experience with each of them may be a bit different. But know, and on the flip side, but know that as a patient, you are contributing to that person's growth, right? And then ultimately the whole system, one person, patient, physician at a time, will get better. where I trained in the US, in New York, I trained at SUNY Downstate, that's in New York City. And a good number of the residents were from University of the West Indies. Those were the strongest, those were the brightest physicians. We, Bahamians, and others from the Caribbean, have a great reputation when matriculating abroad. We're the strongest physicians. And so coming back home and being able to work with students and residents that would have graduated from UWI, it was a pleasure and an honor.
Dr. Roll, you already spoke about access to quality healthcare in a way, and we know that that's a global issue. What changes or innovations would you love to see implemented in the Bahamian healthcare system over the next 10 years?
In terms of preventative health, in terms of primary care, there wouldn't be that much difference between someone who can afford private insurance versus national health insurance. When we consider the access to care, like brick and mortar facilities, we're already expanding. We're seeing healthcare facilities pop up in all the islands. We see even physicians themselves setting up shop per se on various islands and providing quality, innovative care to patients. I know that there are improvements being made and that have been made to the Princess Margaret Hospital. That is continuing to happen. So I think that in the next 10 years, the face of healthcare is going to look much different than it does now, as it does now compared to 10 years ago. Okay? You have to consider where you've come from to appreciate where you are and have the hope that you'll get to where you envision you want to be. So we're not going backwards.
Balancing roles at multiple hospitals. It has to be quite the juggling task. So how do you do that? Or what's your secret, rather, to keeping all the plates spinning without dropping one?
Yes. I write everything down. I have a journal that's everything from my...
Pen to paper, not on your phone.
No, pen to paper.
Okay.
And I make it a beautiful thing. So when you look at my journal, it's color-coded. I have stickers, I have quotes, I have highlights, underlined, circle, shaded in areas. The shaded in areas are where I am out of commission. I cannot be reached, or I should not be reached. And that's just my personal time. So I write everything down.
And when she's not running her own practice or navigating both public and private healthcare systems, this dynamic mother of three gives us an exclusive look into her personal life, unveiling her fiercely competitive spirit. She'll also tackle our quintessentially Bahamian challenge when Emerging Bahamians returns. As we walk the halls of the historic British Colonial Hotel, noted gastroenterologist and president of the Medical Association reflected on 51 years of independence and her ongoing mission to give back to her country.
Once I was done with my training, it took me, let's say I was there for 12 to 15 years, it took me 12 days to pack up all of those years and move back to the place that I love. Would I appreciate my home had I not been away from it all this time? Perhaps I would have, because my parents have instilled in myself and my siblings national pride. My parents themselves were people of service. I think my mother especially sacrificed a lot to just help others. We've always had that sense of national pride and wanting to do for others and do more. So being away from my country, couldn't wait to get back. So 51 years of independence, It makes me proud when I think about a small country, all that we have accomplished, all the struggles and the sacrifices that were made for our independence, and we can independently make this country a better place. So July 10th gives us time to reflect on the past and where we're from.
When you're not being a mother, saving lives, or teaching future doctors, we've learned you enjoy playing sports, which I love too. I love watching, not so much playing, but watching. I'm curious to find out, what's your favorite sport, and do you ever get competitive with your kids or your colleagues?
Oh, nice. So when I was in high school, I was a captain. Well, myself and maybe one or two persons, we were like the leaders in all of our teams. I played anything from field hockey to water polo.
Really?
Right?
Field hockey?
Field hockey, yeah. I played in the night league with my aunt. Okay. And then when I came back home, over 10 years ago, I started to play flag football. I played that for a few years until I injured myself. Then I started having babies, and then I went back into a sport. I played softball. I'm actually a member of the PMH softball team.
Okay.
I would say my favorite sport at this point would be softball. I love the sport of softball. My high school, St. Andrews, we were the winning softball team, and I was the champion pitcher that year back in 19. So it would be softball. Now, am I competitive with my children? So we have a little field in the area where we live, and my children have shown me what their talents are. I think I have rising track and field stars. The little ones are very fast, and I want to nurture that, and I want to live vicariously through them, right? As I see them champion their sports.
Now, are you that kind of mom that's just gonna let them, or are you going to be like that mom that's, hey, that's my child?
Yes.
Oh, you're that, hey, that's my child. Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
my child is on the field,
right.
And
no one else have a child.
No. That's my baby. Yes, you know.
We continued our walk as we wrapped up our interview, where she took our quintessentially Bahamian quiz. Okay, so now you're gonna have to give me an answer. I'm gonna give you two options. You give me an answer, okay? Junkanu or carnival?
Junkanu, that's easy. Junkanu.
Conch fritters or calamari?
Conch fritters.
Okay. Crack conch or conch salad? That one's a toughie. That one is a toughie because I like conch, so
Listen, so on my heavy days, where I'm trying to intermittently fast and try to slim down, I'm gonna go with conch salad.
Okay.
But on my days of, I do try to eat healthy, but on my days of wanting to just be, it's gonna be crack conch.
Okay. Goodman's Bay or Cabbage Beach?
Goodman's Bay.
That was easy for you.
Yeah, Cabbage Beach. I can't tell you when last I went there.
Okay. All right. So, which Bahamian colloquialism do you think you use the most?
Bay. I ain't for that. I ain't into that.
Now, is it bay, or which one is the most though?
I don't regularly break into it. I would. Oh, maybe this. What you saying, babe?
Her use of that popular colloquialism provides a perfect segue into introducing our next rising star.
I use boy a lot. Like for every sentence, I have to say boy. Like when I'm at school and I talk to my boys, even though they don't understand it, I have to say boy. I try to change it up, but I can't. It's just there.
That's 20-year-old javelin thrower Keyshawn Strawn, already a force to be reckoned with. And what better place to have this conversation than right in his wheelhouse? I walked the track at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium with this Andros native who shared his immense pride in his heritage.
Independence means a lot to me, so just the time that as a country, Bahamas, a time to celebrate, enjoy ourselves, eat our food, our good dishes.
Crab and rice.
All day.
And when we return, we'll delve into the man, the athlete, and what makes him quintessentially Bahamian. RTV presents Emerging Bahamians is right back after this. Keyshawn Strawn is an all-American javelin thrower, proud to represent the Bahamas on the world stage. Not long after our interview during the recent Olympic qualifiers, the Bahamian national record holder announced he will be moving to the University of Nebraska. Strawn entered the transfer portal in June 2024 after deciding to leave Auburn University, and he'll be joining fellow Bahamians Rima Ottabor, Tiori Scott, and Tasia Stubbs. How did a young kid from Andros discover the passion for javelin throwing? And was there a moment that made you think, okay, this it?
This could be a funny story. First, I was doing track.
Okay.
I was running track. And then one day I just stopped. I just stopped running because I see the boy throwing jab, and I was like, and I could do this because my mom, she was telling me stories about how she used to throw jab and I used to do it. So I was like, if you used to do it, probably in my genes too, so why not? And one day just pick up the jab, I just started throwing it, practice. And then house sports came around. First time I threw, it was like 42 meters. At that time, I was good at my age. So the coach at my time, John Ingram, from Freeport now, he took me to Nassau and participated in the high school nationals. And the first time, that was my first real meet. I threw 44 meters. I was, like I said, I was good at that time. And then now my coach now, Corentin Maker, he brought me from Andros. And I used to come over like every weekend or every time I could, train and practice with him. And then my first meet under him, I threw at least 54, 55 meters. So I was like, okay,
this it?
Yeah, this it, yeah. This it, yeah. Finally find something.
So your mom, you, and your sister, because your sister throws as well, it runs in the family.
Yes, mom.
All right. Training for javelin can't be a walk in the beach. What does your typical training day look like, and how do you stay motivated on the tougher days?
So typical training for me, it's a lot of running. Yeah, a lot of running, a lot of speed work, trying to perfect my technique wise, But for me, it's like just a lot of training, a lot of running, a lot of push-ups, squats, stuff like that, a lot of gym. There's more gym than anything else.
So a lot of weight training.
A lot of weight training. But on the tougher days, I try to stay motivated. I just talk to God, pray, read my Bible, and it keeps me going.
How do your friends and family react when they see you throw that spear across the field?
A lot of them still give a reaction. Like, they still can't believe that I could throw stick that far.
Yeah, because in Bahamas, we ain't gonna say javelin, we can say stick.
Yeah, but they still can't believe it. You know? Like, something you don't see on a regular. So, yeah.
You've achieved so much already as an All-American. What are some of your biggest goals and aspirations moving forward in your athletic career?
For me right now, I'm trying to qualify for Olympics. That's my biggest goal right now. Something I wanted to do from young. Watching track and field, all the Olympics, the world champs, big meets like that. Like, that's my goals, my aspiration, just to make it to Olympics, world champs, diamond leagues, and one day, to sign a contract with a company.
Big goals for a young man who is already so far ahead, but he's deeply connected to his country, in particular, his beloved Andros.
For me, I like crab and rice.
Oh, well, Andros.
Yeah,
that's the connection.
Thing, yeah. But for me, I just, not try to take it too hard, cool down, recover, get flushes, massages and stuff, so it get the body back to normal. So that's how I'm wind down on a throwing day.
You do that sitting in the cold ice bath thing? How do you all do that?
Me, when I went to school the first time, I was not doing that. Like, it's like 3 of my coaches had to hold me down and I stopped one time.
Young people in the Bahamas look up to athletes like you. What message do you have for young aspiring athletes who dream of following in your footsteps?
Stay dedicated, you know, stay focused. I mean, hard to achieve these goals. At one point in time, I was just like the younger kids. And I look up to people like Stevie them and Shawnee them and see what they do. Why not? It could be the same.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Andros. What are some of your favorite things about your hometown, and how has it influenced your journey as an athlete?
I love the people back at home. You know, like when they see somebody like me come at home and everybody treat me like that person. Yeah, I like that.
You're a star.
Yeah, I like that. And it just motivate me more that if I make it on the big stage, I know they can treat me there, you know.
And my mom is from Andros. The food there is good.
Yeah,
she's a cook.
Yeah.
So that has to be one of your favorite things.
Yes, Mom. No, I don't know. Andros cooks just different. They're just different when it gets to the pot, you know.
I like that answer. Now, final question for this segment. You know, there's that part of the airport where everybody goes through and sees all the faces on the wall. Do you think we'll see your face in the Airport Hall of Fame one day?
Hopefully one day. One day, yeah. I would like to see my picture there. It means a lot to me, but hopefully one day I could be on the wall.
Strawn is brimming with potential and stands as a shining example of athletic excellence. We took our conversation back to the place this rising star holds dear, the track, where he couldn't escape our quintessentially Bahamian challenge. If you could compete in any other sport, what would it be and why?
Definitely high jump.
High jump?
Definitely.
You got the height?
Yeah, I got the height. I just love high jump. High jump and hammer, but mainly high jump.
Why high jump?
Because just seeing everybody fly over the bar, you know, sometimes you will feel like Michael Jordan, you know? Yeah.
Now, if you had to come outside of the realm of track and field, give me the sport you think you'd be good with.
Basketball.
Okay.
Because I used to play it in primary school until high school. But then, like, competition started getting stiff, you know?
Okay.
Everybody started getting
good.
Yeah, so that's like, just let that go. But definitely basketball.
Either or. Junk canoe or carnival?
Junk canoe. I don't know if y'all ever see me post. I don't think y'all ever saw me post junk canoe on my status. But like right before me, like I listen to junk canoe music.
Really?
Yes. I listen.
That's your warm up.
Yeah, like I got to get the blood going. I got to get hype. But love junk canoe. Like that is a different sport.
Okay.
A different sport.
Let's go for another one. Comforters or group of fingers? You gotta give me an answer.
Comforters.
Okay.
Comforters.
Tropical what you was gonna say?
Just because of the sauce for the comforters, I would pick comforters.
Okay. Tropical conch salad or OG conch salad? Just
tropical. You can't be tropical. Can't be tropical.
How you going from conch fritters to tropical?
But tropical hit different. It just hit different.
Okay. Saunders Beach, Jaws Beach, or would you take any other beach in Andros over both of them?
Like Morgan's Bluff Beach in Andros, I take the beach any day. Any day.
Morgan's Bluff?
Yep.
I gotta go visit that then.
You would love it there.
So this is your final question. B-E-Y or B-U-I?
Nah, I don't spell it that. I spell it B-E-H.
What?
Yeah. B-E-H.
You got your own spelling?
Yeah.
How you come up with that?
Me and my boys, that's how we say boy. That's how we say boy.
So
B-E-H or B-E-I. But we mostly use B-E-H a lot.
The jury is still out on the spelling of that colloquialism, but not on Keyshawn's future, which remains incredibly bright. And when we come back, we meet two more emerging Bahamians thriving in the worlds of journalism and food security. Lincoln Deal has been on a leadership journey since childhood. He became a member of the F&M Torchbearers Association and now serves as one of the party's vice chairman.
My introduction to the F&M, lots of funny stories. You know, I remember at the age of 14, I went on the national convention stage and delivered my first speech. I got a call, I think, 2 days before the convention asking if I would be interested. And you know, I was still in school. I had school, and I just ducked school for 2 days, and I prepared a speech, and I went on stage and gave it my all. Really just talking about what I think the future of the Bahamas should look like. But obviously, before that point, I started at the torchbearers level. Serving as chaplain, and then moving up over the years to the different positions. So my journey in the F&M has been about 17 years plus, and it's been an interesting journey.
As a millennial leader, Lincoln, you are showing that young Bahamians can make a big impact. What do you think are the biggest challenges and opportunities for millennials and Gen Z when it comes to Bahamian politics as well as business?
I think that historically there's a particular look of what politics looks like. And over the years, I think that there's been a slight disconnect among millennials, now the Gen Zs and more, as to how they view politics. But there's also a passion among that demographic that wants to drive change and wants to make a difference. And so for me, I think merging, being a possible example of what politics can look like and how we can involve more young people in the process, I think would really begin to show them what's possible and what contribution you can actually make. I feel that there's a lot of young people that feel they don't have a voice, they don't have an opportunity to make contributions. And so I think that as we move into the next 50 years and beyond, you're going to see more and more young people getting into the national conversation. And quite frankly, that's needed, because the problems and challenges that we have to solve for tomorrow, we're going to need the young people of today, because their perspectives are different, their mindsets are different. They see politics in a different way than, those who may operate in the systems as it stands.
Outside of his political career, Teal has been passionately pursuing a vision for food sustainability across the country. We met at JWB Steakhouse at Margaritaville, nestled next to the historic British Colonial Hotel within the Point in downtown Nassau. This emerging culinary hotspot has become a favorite among Bahamians, offering a meticulously curated menu of steak and seafood, complemented by top-notch tropical cocktails with stunning views of Nassau Harbor. Despite the variety of food and beverage options on the island, one persistent challenge remains: the nation's heavy reliance on food imports. Teal's company, Eden Farms, is poised to revolutionize agriculture. His plan: to deploy tech-savvy trailers across every family island, promoting vertical farming and accelerating the realization of food sustainability nationwide.
Eden Farms became a very successful opportunity because we're solving an archaic problem. The reality is we have an issue with soil quality. We're in a hurricane belt. The quality of water is not always the best. And so by now merging technology, we can solve some of those problems, become a bit more efficient, and now tackle food security head-on using technology.
That's a good segue, because the next point I want to make is that food security is a critical issue for our island communities. What's your vision for the future of agriculture in the Bahamas, and how can we reduce our dependency on food imports?
That's a great question. I believe that more and more young people are now looking at agriculture as a potential viable career. I think with the merging of technology, we're realizing that there are now new job opportunities. So, for example, with Eden Farms, there are robotic engineers, there are sustainability managers and things of that nature. Historically, those jobs would have been in some of the other areas. But now that there are more jobs and career opportunities emerging with the use of technology, I believe that as more young people look at agriculture and as more people get into the practices, we can begin to introduce new techniques on how we can grow food, not just in Nassau, but throughout the family islands, because this food security shortage goes beyond just Nassau. I mean, just to ship produce from it goes from Florida to the Nassau port, from the Nassau port to, let's say, marijuana. By the time that food arrives to them, it's spoiled, right? And so bringing these sustainable practices closer to the local communities, I believe, is important. I believe that the future of agriculture will also look like large-scale manufacturing facilities, similar to what we're doing with Eden Acres. You're going to see hundreds of thousands of square foot of just manufacturing and agricultural techniques using robotics, using artificial intelligence and things of that nature. That is where the future is going in agriculture. And in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, it's just going to be life.
Balancing business and politics can't be easy. You're also a father of two. Father of two, so I'm going to rope that in there. How do you manage your time and stay motivated? And do you have any secret strategies or rituals to keep everything running smoothly? And I definitely want you to put the fatherhood in there, because I know you have two young kids, so their energy levels must be high. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Very high. The balancing act is very interesting. At times, to be honest, there's different seasons for those things. When I first started business, it was just me, just kind of focused on getting this thing. I was doing everything as the manager, this, that. And then I took on a wife, and so my time my time availability became less. And as I started to take on kids, I now realized that you now have to be present, right? And for me, family is really a big deal. I love my family. And so just being intentional about dedicating the time necessary for your family. I think that's very important, because once all of this is gone, all you have is your family. As it pertains to business and politics, again, it's always an interesting combination, but at the same time, it's rewarding for me, because honestly, it's a passion, right? And I believe that when you're passionate about what you're doing, you don't necessarily see it as balancing, but you see it as doing something that you love, because both in politics and in business, you're solving problems. And for me, that's a passion of mine. So the reason we got into Eden Farms is not just to make money, but to solve a problem on a national level, almost like social entrepreneurship. In politics, on a national level, you're able to solve problems in education, agriculture, crime, whatever it is. And I think that's where my passion comes from.
How does it all work? It's like everything in your phone. Like, I spoke to Dr. Gemerald. She has a journal.
Yeah.
And she showed us a little bit about it. It's color coded.
Yeah.
This is family time. Don't make any doctor's appointments. This is president of the medical association. Like, how do you keep it together?
Honestly.
Or does the wife keep it together?
Great point. So for me, no man is an island.
Okay.
So you may see Lincoln Deal, but behind these businesses and alongside these companies, and even in politics, there's a team. With Eden Farms, I celebrate my partners like Carlos Palacios, Gilbert Cassar, and others who, when we sit down and talk about business, it's almost like the meeting of the minds, because we're just throwing out things about what the future looks like, what it can look like, and things of that nature.
You've been a role model for so many young entrepreneurs. What advice would you give to aspiring business owners who want to make a difference in their communities but just don't know where to start?
I would say, I've been in business now for 15 plus years in a lot of different areas of business. I would say that find your niches, find the things that you love doing, find the problems that you're passionate about solving. And in doing that, learn as much about that industry as possible, right? Learn every aspect of it. And then from there, be a disruptor, right? Don't be afraid to rock the boat. Again, with change comes resistance. But in order for us to move beyond these 50+1 years, we're going to need some more disruptors. We're going to need some more Gen Zs and millennials that see the world in a different way and are not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Setting business and politics aside, we moved over to the bar, ready to unwind and catch a glimpse of Lincoln's quintessential side. If you could invite any three Bahamians, past or present, to a dinner party to discuss the future of the Bahamas, who would they be and why? And then also tell us what's on the menu from Eden Farms.
Very good question. So I would invite Sir Lyndon Pinlin. I would invite my sister, Lynette Candace Steele. She is a professor in the U.S. And I would invite Hubert Ingram just for jokes. But I would bring Sir Lyndon Pinlin because at the foundation of this 50 plus 1 year, he was the disruptor at that time. He was the one who pushed the envelope, who, just disrupted the systems that we were accustomed to, and he moved through that unapologetically for multiple years. And so that insight, understanding his mindset, what was going through his mind, how he navigated those systems, to me would be valuable just to understand how did you do it. On the menu, you're going to get the freshest farm-to-table lettuce that you have ever tasted in the Bahamas, from Eden Farms, direct from our hydroponic container farms. So that's going to be a crisp iceberg lettuce that's going to be marinated with some specialty greens that we've also put together, and you're going to get some nice plush cherry tomatoes. That is going to be the best that you've ever had. And both Sir Lyndon Pinlin, my sister, Miles, the late Miles Monroe, they'll all enjoy that meal.
All right, so let's get to the real you. This is the wrap up.
All right.
These are the good stuff. Let's talk about what makes you the husband, the man, the father, the friend, quintessentially Bahamian. What would you say has earned you your true Bahamian card?
Boy, I jumped off of one cliff inside Long Island into that deep blue hole,
okay.
and I survived that.
I was able to. I was able to get it out. Okay, so either or. Either or. You can't pick both. Junkanoo or carnival?
Junkanoo.
Conch fritters or chicken wings?
Conch fritters.
Conch salad or calamari?
Conch salad.
Arawaki or Porterski?
I would go Arawaki.
Orange Hill or Jaws Beach?
Orange Hill.
Which Bahamian colloquialism do you use the most?
The mother suck.
That's a good one. I didn't even think of that. The mother suck, I like that one. And last but not least, how do you spell boy? Is it B-E-Y or is it B-U-I?
For me, it's B-E-Y.
B-E-Y.
And I got that from Conscience Clothing. Shout out to Giorgio Notes.
So you go with B-E-Y?
B-E-Y.
Okay, B-E-Y is how it's... Someone actually told me yesterday that they spelled, not yesterday, a few days ago, they spell it B-E-H. What do you think about that?
No, man, I ain't.
Dime boy.
It's either B-E-Y or B-U-I.
So we go in with B-E-Y.
B-U-I.
So far, at least 2 of 5 say it's spelled B-E-Y. But we have one more vote before reaching a consensus. Fun aside, his impassioned vision now focuses on carrying the baton forward, aiming to feed and elevate our nation to become the best little country in the world. And when we come back, we'll explore how a Bahamian journalist is making her mark on the world stage, including her ride on Air Force One. As the Bahamas celebrates 51 years of independence, we reflect on a journey filled with triumphs and challenges. Many remarkable Bahamians have played pivotal roles in propelling our nation forward, and Jasper Ward is one of them. She's a Bahamian journalist now based in the United States. Epitomizing excellence in journalism, Jasper transitioned from standing alongside local journalists to becoming a reporter at Reuters in Washington, D.C. D.C. is among the top media markets in the United States, often one of the hardest markets for even American journalists to break into. This significant achievement underscores her impressive journalistic skills. We spoke with a journalist who has interviewed prime ministers, cabinet members, and leaders of commerce via Zoom. Thanks so much for joining us on our Independence Special. It's so good to have you.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here, Sasha.
All right, so let's just get into it. Let's start with a blast from the past. What was it like working at the Nassau Guardian, and how did your Bahamian roots shape your approach to journalism?
It was a wonderful experience working at the Nassau Guardian. I got to cover a variety of topics. I got to do features with everyday Bahamians covering parliament, economics, just you name it, I've done it. I think the experience with covering journalism in the Bahamas was that you really got to engage with the community and the public, and that allowed you to focus on more than just the policy, but how policy was really impacting everyday Bahamians.
All right, so you've made quite a leap from the Bahamas to Washington, D.C. What's the most surprising thing you've encountered in the U.S. journalism scene compared to back here at home?
I'd really say it's just more fast paced over here. Journalism's really done the same everywhere around the world. We, as you know, as journalists, we're all about getting the story, getting it out as fast as possible and making sure that it's accurate. But the only thing I'd say that's different from my experience in the Bahamas is that it's more fast paced. Where I had the entire day sometimes to do a story, I really have to get it out within 15 minutes over here. So I don't have that luxury of time.
As we celebrate the Bahamas' 51st independence, what's one thing you miss most about the Bahamas that you just can't find in D.C.?
Conch salad.
That's a quick answer. Simple.
Very quick. Simple.
Okay, you've covered many stories both in the Bahamas and in the U.S. What's one story you've worked on that you're particularly proud of, and why does it stand out to you?
I'd say two stories. One was the story I did as I was leaving the Bahamas, which was FDX, the collapse of that empire, as you know, was based in the Bahamas. And that's because it kind of gave me my introduction into the fast-paced American journalism that I'm now experiencing, that I'm now working in. And it was the first story I did with my new company, Reuters. So it was a transition for me from the Nassau Guardian covering that story to Reuters. And my second favorite story would be when I traveled on Air Force One for the first time with the president. And that story really stands out because we traveled on Air Force One with Biden right after the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel. And we got to interview him as he was boarding the plane. And, you know, that was really a standout moment for me in my career as a journalist.
Can you share a funny or memorable moment from your time reporting in the Bahamas that still makes you smile?
You know, I think all of it still makes me smile. You know, every time we had to go to cabinet or the House of Assembly, waiting outside with my colleagues, just cracking jokes, sometimes trying to figure out, brainstorm what stories we're going to get, who we were going to talk to. Those are some moments that really still stand out for me.
Is it different in the United States when it comes to that sort of rapport that we have back here at home? You know, there's only about maybe a few of us, whereas in the United States, it's so many people trying to get that. Is the rapport the same amongst your colleagues over in the States?
I don't do too much on the ground reporting, but
Okay.
the few times I've done it, everyone's been really nice here. They've, you know, done a lot with guiding me and helping me learn the way of American journalism. So I'd say the rapport is really the same. But, you know, there's only one group of Bahamians and there's no one like us. So I really do miss the rapport with Bahamians for sure.
Renowned for her fearless questioning, she candidly discusses the contrast between working in the United States and here at home. What advice would you give to young Bahamian journalists who dream of making it big, whether here at home or abroad?
I tell young Bahamian journalists that don't box yourself in. Just because you're in the Bahamas doesn't mean you have to think just within the confines of the Bahamas. When I worked at the Nassau Guardian, some days I would, you know, decide that there's a story that I think we could get a comment from a politician in the US, a congressman, and I would email their press liaison, or I decide that there's a story that's happening locally that maybe we want the White House to comment on, or someone else in the US. And so I'd reach out and sometimes you'd get the response. Think bigger than the Bahamas. And, you know, that can really help improve our journalism because, you know, life is about growing, and it can help you elevate your career if you decide that you want to maybe go abroad one day.
What's one thing you've learned about American politics that you wish more Bahamians knew, and vice versa? What do you think Americans should know about the Bahamas?
Well, you know, I think politics is the same everywhere. As we're covering right now the 2024 elections, what's happening over here really reminds me of the same things that happened during our last election. So I'd really say it's the same when it comes to, you know, politics and elections and that kind of coverage. And one thing I wish Americans knew about the Bahamas, I don't know. I find that my coworkers think I talk too much about the Bahamas. I have a jacket that I wear in the office that says Bahamas. And so people come up to me all the time and ask. And really, I don't really talk that much about like politics and journalism when I'm talking to my American colleagues. I just try to educate them as much as possible about our culture so they can learn more than what they just see on TV or in the news. So, yeah.
Wouldn't you say like a stark difference is the closeness we have to our politicians here at home? I mean, you said you flew on Air Force One, so that's different. But the average American will never get to be face to face with Joe Biden. Whereas I could go to the gas station and be pulled up right next to the prime minister and give him a hail. Wouldn't you say that that's a big difference, or there's really no difference to you?
I mean, okay, that is a big difference. But well, when you're speaking about everyday Bahamians, so yeah, I think that is a big difference. But, you know, you have journalists over here who they are constantly up face and face. They'll call the Treasury Secretary, or sometimes you have the president calling some journalists just to talk in the mornings. So in that way, I don't really think there's a difference, because I think as journalists, we all have that same closeness if you're on a certain beat. But I would agree with you, Sasha, that everyday Americans don't have the same closeness that we have with our politicians back home.
She paused to reflect on 51 years of Bahamian independence, passionately sharing why everyone should experience the magic of the Bahamas at least once.
I tell people you have to go to the Bahamas because Bahamians are unlike anyone you'll ever meet. We're the nicest people. We're caring, you know. I've lived in the UK and I've lived in the US now. And walking on the street, you can really feel like a loneliness because of all the people around. But in the Bahamas, whether you know people or not, you'll never really feel that. People are very quick to stop and talk to you. And there's this family-like feeling when you're in the Bahamas. And so I tell everyone to go. And when going, especially visit those islands, because, I mean, the experience you'll have on an Andros or an Abaco or Long Island, you won't necessarily have in Nassau. It's just a serene beauty to it.
So, Jasper, what we're going to do now, we're going to get into the real you. These are the questions you didn't get to see, but these are fun questions. So, What makes Jasper, the woman journalist friend, quintessentially Bahamian?
I don't know. My love for Kong salad and virgin sky juice. I don't know. I'd say that what makes me quintessentially Bahamian.
You're really a Kong salad fan.
Every single day, if you ask my mom. So it's a real thing there.
I love that. I love Kong salad as well, but you got to watch your cholesterol with that.
Indeed.
All right. What would you say has earned you your true Bahamian card?
Oh boy.
Don't let us take your passport now. Don't let us take your passport.
I can say what could get the passport revoked is that I don't eat chicken with bones in it. But I mean, I love my country. I don't really know what to say.
We love fried chicken.
The Bahamas, I don't eat. Come on, why are y'all eating that? It's weird to me. But I just love my country. I just feel like it's deeply ingrained. You know, my one goal is to be the best ambassador I can be to this country. And when you're abroad, I think you should really represent as best as possible. So I just feel like the Bahamas is in me, man. You can't take it out. So there's no real answer for that.
All right, John Canoe or Carnival?
John Canoe, what you mean? One is Bahamian.
All right. I'm with you there. Kong fritters. Well, I know the answer for you for this because you just answered it. Kong fritters or chicken wings?
Come on, Kong fritters.
Arawaki or
Kong fritters?
Kong fritters. Yeah, I agree with that because some people just got fritters. Arawaki or Porter's Key?
Potter's Key for sure. It's a really great vibe underneath there. It just feels very authentically Bahamian.
Which Bahamian colloquialism do you use the most?
Madasejet.
Do your American counterparts understand when you say, have you had to explain that?
I have to explain it a lot. It's to the point. There's that Instagram page, Eyes of Bahamian.
Yeah.
I've started saving the definitions from that page to send to my friends and colleagues over here because they're always just like, what? And I have a few friends who are like, they'll walk up to me in my office and be like, what's up, babe? And I'm like, all right.
All right, so they're getting it. All right, now last but not least, and you just touched on it a little bit, how do you spell Bey? Is it B-Y or B-U-I?
What is B-U? What? B-E-Y, easily.
B-E-Y. You sticking with that? Final answer.
Correct answer.
You sure?
I mean, yes.
All right. Mind you, I agree with you. But there is some conversation around. Someone actually told me, another person that we interviewed said he spells it B-E-H. Don't ask.
Makes sense.
All right, Jasper, thank you so much for being part of our independence interview. This has been a great conversation, and we hope that you continue to do well over in DC.
Thank you very much, Sasha.
Next, we introduce you to R+1, a creative making a name for himself in the world of innovation, breaking barriers, and captivating global audiences. Get ready for a glimpse into his world when Emerging Bahamians, the 2024 Independence Special, returns. We've spoken to 5 emerging Bahamians, all making a name for themselves in their respective fields. A senator, a doctor, an athlete, a politician and entrepreneur, and a journalist. And now, enter Bahamian creator Peter DeVoe Isaacs Jr., R+1 in our ode to the country's 51st anniversary of independence. The Bahamian creative economy has long been underdeveloped. However, in the past 5 to 10 years, we've seen significant growth, both locally and internationally. Bahamians are breaking barriers and captivating global audiences in art, entertainment, fashion, and more. Yet the question remains, are we adequately supporting our creative community? In an upcoming episode of RTV's On the Record, host Jerome Sawyer interviews Peter, a full-time content creator whose subscriber base rivals a quarter of our population. They explore Peter's journey to building a successful YouTube channel that resonates with hundreds of thousands.
Started in law school. And I want to discuss sort of how that happened. You know, in the Bahamas, when you decide to become a lawyer, that is a position of privilege. I remember my grandmother saying, "You sure you don't want to be a lawyer?" No, Gabby. But tell us about that journey.
Well, you dressed me in broad roads because I had gotten into law schools.
Right.
And then I actually was at a fork in the road where it was either go to law school after I finished my postgrad in political science, my master's.
Right.
And then it was either go to law school or do YouTube and be the pejorative that is a YouTuber. And I say pejorative because not many people understand what we do. At that fork in the road, I had just gotten, I think, about 1,000 subscribers. So that took a year. So people can then attest to just how difficult it is to get your first 1,000. Just 1,000.
Wow.
And that was a humiliating and groveling endeavor. Like I'm talking dropping your links in places, like links to your channel in places where they should not be. Your mummy group chat, Facebook group chats. Worst thing to do, would not recommend doing that because they will always lead you with all kind of bad comments and tell you that inside your gap could fit a whole 10A bus. They will let you know that very quickly.
Wow.
But from there, I was able to move from vlogs talking about the Bahamas because I wanted to basically export our culture to as many people as I can. So
We can have access to such a global audience.
Absolutely.
And one of our very own is sitting there as a gatekeeper or holding the door open for us to walk through.
I really see myself as a vessel into making not only extremely profligate amount of wealth as a creator, but more so the middle class creator, like the person that is making like money on YouTube enough to take home to their family, pay their rent and whatnot. I champion that plight as well as like the plight of, yeah, you can make something that goes extremely viral and produces like a lot of money, or you can make like a Nebula original, which is like things that like we're really invested in doing. We have not had the buy-in into our creative endeavors the way that we want to. And there's creatives and then there's creators. A creative being people that do graphic design, audio engineering, things like that, which are more so services that a creator would need. Mm-hmm. A creator can encapsulate all of those as well as be a performer, entertainer, or just a career creator around that thing. I would consider myself to be a career creator. It is my full-time job. I support myself, my wife, and now my newborn with that. I pay
And
a Kalina.
congratulations, by the way. You said that too.
I appreciate that. I have joined the ranks of the sleepless. You're right. In the Bahamas, as we stand, when I sign up for my Commonwealth Bank of the Bahamas account, they don't know what to do when I list creator or entrepreneur as this. I would need to use my LLC that I have in the US in order to justify this income. They don't see it as a viable source of income. And you're right, even in more commonplace and casual conversation, when you bring up your career as a creator, say, okay, well, what else do you do?
Keep an eye out for the upcoming On the Record episode to discover more about Peter's venture, which competes with big names like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV. He shares more insights about competing and thriving in this competitive space. And now, we reflect on that pivotal moment on July 9th, when upon receiving the official independence order and the new Bahamas Constitution, the father of our nation, Lyndon Pindling, declared, "We are prepared to shoulder our responsibilities. And despite the ups and downs, we know that we are going to make it." 51 years later, the journeys of these incredible next generation leaders embody the realization of his belief. They stand on the shoulders of countless others who paved the way before them. Their strength and vision ensuring that the next group of emerging Bahamians can undoubtedly count on their shoulders for support and inspiration. Until next time, for RTV Presents, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.